tonight is a continued case, and we've continued it several times, is case number, do I go ahead and list both at the same time? Because we'll be doing them both at the same.
You can put them together.
Case number 18-999-12, Douglas Dehoff, is that pronounced right? 1400 South Franklin Drive, a variance request to the setback requirements for the property at said 1400 South Franklin Drive. And then also case number 18-999-13, Douglas Dehoff, 1400 South Franklin Drive, a variance request to the setback and fence requirements on this said property. So I guess we show the video.
Yeah, let's do it as a refresher, because it's been a few months since I've shown the video.
Okay.
And this is, we're looking at the lot that's due west of the property. These are the people across the street. And then looking east, and there's the house itself. You can see the fence extended out toward the road in front of the carport. I believe you might be able to see the accessory building there. That tan there.
Right.
And a closer look at the fence line. And fence line up front. There's the accessory building. It's beyond the vehicles there.
Okay. All right. Do we have, are we ready for the start here? Okay. Do we have someone here representing the owner or the of the property? Can you come to the front and just give us your name and address here for the
Douglas Dehoff. I live at 1400 South Franklin Drive.
Can you get a little closer to the mic and pull it down, please?
Douglas Dehoff. I live at 1400 South Franklin Drive in Independence.
Okay.
Off of Winter Road.
Okay. I see you have a sketch here that you didn't have last time we were here, right? As far as
That's what Stuart came up with, actually.
that's what Stuart did the sketch. Okay.
So that wasn't produced by me.
The city still has some concerns, both on the what is accessory building and the what do you call it, the carport
Carport and a fence, isn't it?
and the fence being over
The accessory building, the city really wasn't challenging. It was the
Carport and the fence?
carport and the fence.
the carport and the fence was okay. It wasn't so much the accessory building. That's not part of this. Okay.
I mean, it's part of the variance, but
Okay. So the fence, according to the sketch here, is over the right-of-way line, correct? But we don't know. We haven't ever gotten a survey on it, so we don't exactly know where.
these are our best guesses.
Right. These are
Yeah.
guesses. Okay. But the carport, according to the sketch, is only 11 foot from the pavement, and so it's actually, well, according to this, half a foot off the fence. Is that correct? Back to the south.
Yes.
Okay. So, and normally on something like this, it has to be, how many feet does it normally have to be? I thought it was supposed to
well,
be
there doesn't-
no closer than the house. Is that right? To the
Are you talking about the distance between the fence and the carport?
well, that, but also the distance between the carport and the right-of-way line itself. It's over the line. according
Right.
to this.
It's over the line, plus it's also the rest of it that's not over the line, but about half of it's also intruding in the encroachment beyond the building line, obviously.
And of course, the house is, according to this, is on maybe about 8 feet from the property line or right-of-way line or something,
Yeah.
roughly. Okay. But it's been there for years, so that's that's a situation that's been there forever, I guess. What was the issue, was it last time, Roy, what was the thing that we were talking about of course, the staff comments on both we have on the,
We weren't
Into-
exactly sure where the
I think we were waiting on a survey,
property
weren't we?
line was. We're trying to save them the money for purchasing a survey, and surveyors are busy and expensive at the moment, and so Stewart became a surveyor.
he gave him a surveyor. And,
Not
but,
technically,
but we don't know for sure, I mean, it may be close, but we don't know that for sure whether,
I'll tell you, we took the best guess that the back fence line is where the property line is,
okay,
because it's consistent with all the neighboring fences
okay,
and with the other 4 properties. So
okay. And then you just went roughly 50 feet
So
from there to the
we
north.
we took that southwest corner as a known point.
Okay,
Part of that original fence is still there, and it was directly on the property line.
okay. All right, so,
what did you say about the original fence now?
The last part of the fence we extended out from is wooden and is the original fence that was there when we moved in. So we didn't touch.
So
That part
you're
of the fence.
saying that the chain link fence that you put up is in the same location as the fence was there when you bought the property?
Correct.
Okay.
He's referring to the west fence and not the north fence along the right of way.
Smaller
West fence.
3-foot fence that we replaced on the
I
front.
see.
the
In
one
other
on,
words, the west fence, where it ended is where you assumed your north property line was, and so you went off of that. Okay.
Correct.
If you look at the picture,
okay, so the chain link
Let's see.
fence would be the northwest portion of the property. But it didn't go all the way down to what we call the southwest corner, it just, everything's at the northwest portion of the
The only thing that
of the
was
lot.
missing on the original fence was across the driveway.
Okay,
And we think they had a garage there at one point because there's still a part of a foundation sitting next to the blacktop.
okay,
Part of the foundation is in the northeast corner of where the fence,
Yeah. We think there was a garage footing, there's a garage footing still sitting there in the ground.
the garage footing is as far north as your fence is?
Correct.
and that's where it'd be close to the house, right? Where it was originally, is that correct?
Well, it was sitting on top of the driveway, which it's next to the fence, and that's the only place they've ever had a driveway. And that's out from the house, so.
He's talking about this point here, I think.
I guess, yeah.
Are we looking at this like this is north this way?
It's
we're
marked on
looking
your,
due south.
You're looking
We're
along,
looking south, but it would be coming north, okay. I'm
You're
sorry.
looking north, the driveway would be here, and the
I
house
added
would be
it,
there.
asked it wrong maybe.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm just trying to look at this. and-
Yeah,
Thank you.
How high is the fence itself, the chain? link?
6.
6 foot, okay.
the original was 3 or 4,
3 or 4.
but it was old and it was sinking, so.
And according to the city, they've got, what is it, is it supposed to be no higher than 3 feet? What is it on that?
Yeah, anything in front of the front building line of the house should not be taller than 3 feet.
Okay. All right. May not exceed 36 inches, okay.
As we were looking at the picture, weren't we looking at a fence that's across the street that was probably 6 feet, the wooden fence? Wasn't there
Yeah.
a wooden fence across the street?
They have a 6-foot property fence, and there's another person on Franklin that has a 6-foot private fence that you
On the
can't see
front,
through
on
either.
the front
Yeah.
also?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for doing that.
That's.
Yeah.
That's the front, that's on the south, across the street?
Mhm.
That definitely is a tall fence.
Mhm.
Did you guys happen to measure from that fence across the street to his fence?
No, we didn't do anything except from the high point in the center of this street.
Okay.
So you just got the width and just went about halfway.
We
between it.
we didn't work from the other side.
Oh, okay, okay. So, the, they've got here that the city, the 5 conditions which we have to use on, well, we've got them on both of the fence and the carport, but I noticed on there, according, they had their staff comments, and then they said in the short paragraph at the end of number 6, they said the interior, meaning rear setback request meets 5 of the above stated hardships or facts for variances listed in the Unified Development Ordinance for consideration. The exterior, meaning street side yard setback request meets 1 of the hardships or facts. So the interior, meaning the rear, it meets 5 of the 6, but the other exterior.
I think the
So it's kind of
interior,
confusing, but
I don't think that, I think the interior I was talking about, for the, you talk about the carport?
well, we have two different things we're looking at here.
I have an interior for the carport, which is the north line, and then I have an interior for the accessory structure, not the north, the west line, and the interior for the accessory structure, which is the north line.
Well, according to this, it appears that it's over the, what we call the,
It looks as
Property
though
line.
we're in the right of way.
it appears it's in by, we don't know how many feet, but it might be a foot, a half a foot. Assuming that the fence is on the property line, we don't know that for sure if it's in the right of way without a survey, really, do we? Not
Yeah,
really.
we don't know for sure, but
I mean, you could say that's the line, but it still is over within a what, half a foot of the fence? On the north?
So
So it's still,
even if it was at the line, it would still need a variance because it's past the house.
so it's a kind of an unusual situation, I guess is what we call that.
Let's see, is that a dead-end street?
Jewel Court stops there, but it's not a dead end. It hits Franklin, and then Franklin takes over from there. So Jewel Court and then Franklin's like this, and they all kind of curve into each other. It's a circular neighborhood,
Okay.
like this.
Okay, it's hard to kind of tell where one ends and the other begins. Okay.
Correct.
Oh,
The train track kind of pushes all the neighborhood in on itself because you can't go out past the train tracks.
well, so, It's- it's just, and go through it.
Well, the number 12, that's the one we're primarily looking at right now.
Yeah. Is number 12, yeah. We have to go by these, and, the city, let's see,
So,
it goes into where we've come up with a meeting in August and continued till now.
Right, well, the carport's gonna have to be removed, it's gonna have to be moved no matter what.
Yeah, the carport will have to be moved. So the question is, how close, if you're going to let it be beyond the building line, and how far you're going to let it be encroach beyond the building line. And given that we don't know the exact location of the property line, it would be prudent to probably do a safe distance back from that, where we think the line is, and base that encroachment on a known point, like the
Would a-
corner
would
of
a
the
safe-
house or
Would
something.
a safe distance be 7 feet?
Hmm?
Would a safe distance, you said move back, would a safe distance be 7 feet?
That would be, or 7 feet from what?
Well, you said it had to be moved.
From
back
the
a
outer
safe
edge of the
distance.
house? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, when you said.
You
it
mean,
had to
you
be
mean
moved-
like,
you
let
mean-
them put the fence, 8 or 9
Well,
feet
I'm-
from
I
the
mean,
house
you-
or something
the
like that?
carport- No, you were talking about the carport, and you said it had to be moved back. The carport has to be moved no matter what.
Right, it has to be moved out of the
Then you said
right
it
of
had to
way.
be moved a safe distance.
But we're not, if we
We don't
don't
know.
know exactly where that right-of-way line is,
I understand.
then it would
still
make sense
guessing.
to do a safe distance back based upon the known
And my
point
question was,
going
is 7
forward.
feet a safe distance?
And
mean
you're
the
talking
back.
7 feet,
If the
7 feet from what
If
point?
the carport is moved 7 feet south of its present location, is that a safe distance?
He's asking for your distance judgment.
Would that, would,
Yeah, maybe.
I think you're being, that's going a little too far, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well, I'm,
but
If you're gonna move it 7 foot south of
it
its
goes
current
south 7
position.
feet, that's gonna, is
Well,
that gonna
that's-
create a problem with all the,
it's gotta be moved
everything you
anyway.
have in
Well,
there?
right, but I mean, 7
Correct. So
foot.
the
would
patio
be-
brick, the conduit under the yard,
So you'd have
all
to
that
tear
ground's
it,
uneven, it wouldn't be able to sit.
so you wouldn't, it just wouldn't work if you tried to move it, you could move it some, but not 7
Not that
feet.
much, no.
How
They could
far,
do a
how far can
variance
you
to
move
the
it?
property line
Probably 2 feet, 2 to 3 feet.
is?
You could
And
make
that would clear the,
3
that-
feet might clear the property
Why
line.
don't we,
Yeah.
we could say.
it wouldn't
8
be,
feet.
wouldn't have much of a setback.
can't
Because
move
the
it.
only thing in the way there is just a bush.
Well, that would put it about here.
So what is keeping you from moving it closer to the house? Is that because the existing driveway is there?
Correct. It would then be in the yard and that would present a whole
And-
new,
And the property
Problem.
owner that's on your west,
So,
there is a property right there.
that's a half.
correct. No one has built on it. He's trying to sell it, but he has not gotten any buyers.
So he hasn't
Put
come, he
half
hasn't
there.
objected, he
So
hasn't,
if we.
He's
No,
not even
there's
in
nobody
town.
here.
I don't know where he lives.
okay.
He doesn't live here in town,
No,
you say?
he does not.
So
So-
logically, it seems that, this is what I'm asking
See
you.
that picture again
Logically,
of the car.
you understand.
Where?
You would have to move the carport
Oh,
to the south.
To the south, but you only,
And the fence, you would also have to move
Yeah, thank you.
to the south as well, because it's in the right-of-way line. And you've got telephone pole, a power pole and so forth, that looks like it's back south of the fence, right? Isn't south towards us?
Yeah, the new one they put behind the power pole instead of replacing the power pole because AT&T was not available to move their lines.
So that new one is, the darker one,
darker ones.
Is the old one.
that's farther to the south, correct? The new one is?
The new one is because they couldn't remove the old one.
Okay.
Now, is it a power pole too, or is it,
It is. It has AT&T's lines on it and it has power lines on it.
okay. Now, is the other one still used also as power?
AT&T only. They have not moved their stuff. They have a vault right in front of
Okay,
that pole.
okay.
Yeah, you can see the telephone.
So you could move it if,
Yeah,
south, but you can't move it very far. Maybe it's
he
about
says
where that new pole is. Is that about as
about
far as you
3
can
feet.
go?
That's probably a little bit further than that, but yeah,
But not much.
correct.
And then you could move it and not incur otherwise it's just not feasible. Is that what you're telling us?
Correct.
And the reason you can't move it further to the south than 3 feet is what?
The uneven ground, there's a conduit under there that the owners installed for the light. Actually, we thought the light was coming off the pole, but it's actually coming off the house. And they dug and buried conduit underneath the yard. There's 2 outlets along the way. And then all the patio break and the uneven ground, which would have to all be landscaped because we've had moles really badly and the ground is shot. That's the
So-
reason we don't have much lawn. It's been
But the
eaten.
conduit, it would make it impossible for you to move it any further because otherwise you'd go into that.
Yeah, I'd have to exhume it.
Yes.
Is it private? I mean, is the conduit, what does it serve?
The security light, which you can,
Okay, so that's conduit that was installed by the previous owner? I see.
Okay.
So you could go past that conduit, but you'd have
Not
to,
on top of it, no.
not on top of it.
But you would, but going 3 feet.
Well, they should be able to mark
Yeah.
an underground power
Nobody could mark it.
source.
They mark where it is, can you, I mean, can you tell about where
And the-
or does it have to be?
I know where it comes up in the yard, but I don't know what path it takes. And It's
Yeah.
not a utility thing that they can mark, because it's not on a plan anywhere.
Well, yeah, they should be able to mark it, though. You can go out with a wand and find it as long as there's juice to it.
That's the other problem, there isn't.
There's no juice to it.
And the plug works, but the lights don't.
Well, then there's power to it.
Yeah, but
But
we
it
don't
doesn't
know how
work.
much or,
So it's pretty well,
But there's
Yeah.
power to it if there's power to the outlet.
yeah,
but it's not,
I mean, we're not,
but it's not working.
yeah.
just because the light fixture doesn't work doesn't mean you don't have
Yeah.
power to it. Could be the fixture itself. Point I'm trying to make is you can find underground power as long as there's juice there. They have those wands, they can go along and find it. I know we did this when we built fence, and that was 30 years ago. And they could do it then, I know they can do it now. And as far as the way those carports are manufactured, it's a flat, square tube on the bottom, and they generally bolt them down. Run a big, looks like a great big huge lag bolt for stabilization. And you can move that thing, and if the hole lines up with the conduit, you can just put another hole in it with the drill and then re-anchor. So, I mean, as far as being able to move the carport, of course, you need to know where the power is, and then you can avoid it that way.
Well, you could go past the conduit with the garage.
Well, sure, but I mean, even if it was to line up,
Well, you just
where he
said
was
you
able to
can't go
keep
really
it
past
on the driveway.
Right,
I mean, as far as north-south, you can go back, but you've only got a window of about 3 feet. Isn't that what you're telling us?
yes,
And you don't want to go any further than that because it's going to cause problems.
correct. And then I'm also into the yard technically with the carport, because it goes past the driveway at that point.
So the driveway, it doesn't go all the way back,
It does not,
but it within about 3 feet, and then you're going to be past the driveway itself, right?
correct.
Well, what's the city stand? Is it possible that he could move it south that 3 feet? And even though he'd be really close to the property line, he would still be not on the property line,
So you're talking 3 feet from where?
from where he is now. Move
3
it
feet,
south.
so move the carport 3 feet farther south than it is now.
Move the
Yes.
fence, well, move, maybe.
Well, if it's 10 foot,
Because right now, we're estimating it's probably about a foot into the right-of-way.
Right.
So you're wanting to put it back about, are you saying 3 feet from the right-of-way or 3 feet from where it is?
3
Well,
feet
3
from
from
where
where
it
it is.
So about 2 feet back from the right-of-way?
Maybe
Yeah.
two to 2.5 feet, you're saying, or maybe.
Yeah.
two.
Yeah, that's
Still-
what, basically what I was gonna suggest.
But I mean, that's the only thing we can do almost, isn't it? I mean, seriously. Go ahead.
Well,
didn't mean to
I
interrupt
mean,
you, Dennis.
the city's,
That's what
mean,
we're here for.
the city's argument that they're, I think, was in the hardship questions, that the carport was way too close. I mean, the city would rather it be a lot closer to the setback of the house, but if you're trying to come up with some sort of compromise or something that's workable, that sounds acceptable.
Does that sound acceptable to the city, I would presume, right?
No, that's
If
what I
they-
just
I mean,
said.
because he can't really go back 7 or 8 feet, it's just not
Right,
possible.
because he would be into
Doesn't have
that
the room. Mm-hmm.
that brick patio, basically, that's what you're saying.
And we're trying to work with him, he's got an investment there, and.
and it gets him out of the right of way,
Okay.
Yeah, it gets it
the
off the
main
right of way.
reason.
Now we're talking about the carport, what
Right.
about the fence?
I think that if we
Well-
Fence is
maintain,
gonna have to do the same thing.
we could maintain the same distance between the fence and the carpet, which is approximately 6 inches.
Mm-hmm. They're half a foot.
And if he moved the carport 3 feet, and he
Move
moved
the
the
fence
fence
3
3
feet.
feet,
Would that,
then theoretically, if you think it's about 2 feet from the north edge of the carport to the right-of-way line, then theoretically, he's a foot south of the property line, and the fence is 6 inches south of the property line.
So,
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, and that we may need some kind of a caveat that, you know, if something happens and we find out that the right-of-way is, in the future, that the right-of-way is not where we think it is, or we want to make sure that it's fair to the city and to him, I don't
yeah.
know.
That
How
may have
that
been what
works.
happened with the fence to begin with, considering where the original one was.
Can you live with moving the fence a little bit and the carport itself a little bit?
If that's the compromise we reach, yes.
I mean, that would be where the city would, and make it possible for you not to incur,
My tax
A whole
return has
lot
to
of
be reduced for
expenses.
something, so.
and you don't have to move where you have your plant, your whatever you call it, your plants and so forth.
Correct.
Because we're trying to make it to where
I
it works
understand.
for you. And if the city can go along with that, I think that's probably
We're
our
good
best
with that.
bet.
And if this were a busier street, we wouldn't even probably be considering that.
Yeah, the only thing we have is a school bus.
You know, it's the
You're
only
right.
reason that,
No traffic at all.
Yeah.
that's the only reason I would consider it, because I don't want to set a precedent. So,
But what do you all think? I mean, Tim, Gene, I think that's a doable
well,
compromise from the situation that we,
okay. So we discussed that when we closed, but we need to talk about this other one,
okay.
don't we?
Well, that's the one with the, what is it, the accessory building?
You know, the carport.
Or, no, not the carport, the one that's,
It's a 8x12 shed.
it's the little shed that's almost down to the south property line, right? This 8 by
Vaguely see
12.
it.
It's the 8 by 12,
Yes.
right? Okay. And what's the city saying it should be further north?
Which one?
The shed, the 8 by 12 shed at the southwest corner of the property.
We just said that we weren't saying what it should be, but we were saying that we were
We'd have to have,
doing the analysis of the hardship, and
okay.
we didn't see how there was a hardship in moving a small shed farther north.
Yeah.
So in other words, you'd have to move it,
But, I mean,
4 feet, is that what you're saying?
since we're moving the other one back, that sort of changes the scenario a little bit, you know, because you're,
Yeah, so in other words, they're getting
so
less
the
space.
city's okay with the other.
So in other words, if it's there now, the where it is, even if it's gonna be a foot and something from the property line, that's okay with the city?
Yes.
Because it's very
Okay.
close to being, 8x12, it's a little bit over the 120 square feet.
96, actually.
96 square feet.
Yeah.
Well, so, in other words, because he's moving it, the carport a little bit further south, he's got less room in the yard.
Right.
And so the city can live
So,
with both
so
of
the
those.
city's a little bit more open to the small shed staying where it's at.
Okay,
Yeah, because it's not permittable, it's under 120 square feet, it didn't have to be permitted, it's just.
it's just the
subject-
distance, isn't it?
And
That-
none of the neighbors have complained.
Nobody's
Nobody's-
complained, you
No.
haven't had any problems with your
So-
neighbors, so I don't see where we can't work with,
What-
with Mr. Dehoff, because it's.
You would lose some yard there if we moved it to the north, right?
Right.
Okay.
And it's there, and you don't have to
Fence and
move it, so
shed.
that would be, let's say, it'd be easier for you if you didn't have to.
Yeah. It's also a dog barrier between us and the neighbor's chow. So,
So, I don't know, guys, I mean,
have more questions.
I don't have any other questions. I think the city's pretty well trying to work with him where he has a little bit to move, but not a huge amount of the cost, right? I mean, I don't know how much,
That's, okay,
that's not our.
that's my deal. That's not yours, that's mine.
not really.
That's not the issue, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, do you all, I think we've had all we need from the owner, as far as the testimony. And since there's nobody here that's against this, application, I think we can go ahead and make a decision, can't we?
If I could interject something real
Okay.
quickly.
And you may wanna,
Could we vote on these two cases separately? Remember,
Yes.
the first case,
Okay.
the older one, is for the carport,
okay,
and then the second one
Okay.
is for the.
for the
I bel-
accessory building?
And the fence.
Oh, you mean move the fence where the carport is that what you're talking about?
The first one.
No, I'm saying there's two votes.
Vote on case 12 first, then vote on case 12.
Okay,
Right.
okay, so we do that one, then we just take it and we go to the other one, okay. All right, do I have,
Close the public.
thank you so much, we really appreciate you coming. I don't have anything more to talk about, do you guys? far as discussion. We'll go ahead and close the public meeting, and we will make a decision here for the applicant. All right, so does anyone have a motion for case number 18-999-12? Douglas D. Hoff applicant, what?
That you're gonna move that they
You're
move it
gonna
3
move-
feet.
To approve,
That's what we agreed on and he was
right,
reasonably comfortable with. Yeah. He looks happy.
okay. So we have a motion from Dennis. Okay, and do we have a second?
Second.
All right, so we got Tim, a second. So then we just go ahead and vote on this one, and then we go to the next one, right?
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
case number 18-999-12, 1400 South Franklin Drive. We will vote on Douglas D. Hoff on this particular case number. And so I will do the roll call. Roy Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Jones, I'm sorry, before you
Okay.
proceed, we need to make a motion that's very specific to what is going to be approved. In other
Okay.
words, approval with the stipulation.
With the
That the
stipulation.
fence be moved back 3 feet and that the carport move back 3 feet. Because this
Okay.
is on the record and it needs to be very specific.
Okay.
All right?
That sounds good.
Go ahead, you wanna change your,
I'll
So-
move what the young gentleman said. We moved the carport back 3 feet and the fence back 3 feet. Is that correct?
Okay, is that
The
fine?
fence is actually the next case. No,
The fence is
The-
13.
Well, I thought we had one with the accessory building we're talking. So the first one is the carport. Is that what you're saying? We move it back 3 feet. So we need to put that in our approval. In the motion. Okay, so I've got, you want to redo that, or we've already done it, I guess? You want to go ahead?
I've already done it to the best of
Okay,
my
so,
ability.
all right. So with the, okay. And I have a second by Tim.
Second that.
Okay, so, I guess since we've done that, we can vote, correct?
Yes,
All right, Roy Brown,
yes.
Gene Ogle,
I vote yes.
Tim Watkins,
Yes.
Dennis Hart,
Yes.
Robert Jones, yes. So case number 18-999-12, Douglas D. Hoff, applicant, 1400 South Franklin Drive, has been approved with the changes. Okay, now case number 18-999-13, Douglas D. Hoff. It's a variance request to the setback and fence requirements for the property at 1400 South Franklin Drive. And we have to add moving the fence south 3 feet, is that correct? Because this has to do with the fence.
Height,
right.
And the height,
And the height.
And the height as well.
And the height has to be no more than 3 feet.
Right.
Is that correct?
in the front.
Well, it's this fence here we're talking about. Do what?
Now you have 2 lines of frontage.
No, he has one line in front of it. Oh, yeah, the other side, but there's no fence over there.
Right.
That's his, yeah,
But I mean,
that's the other side of the house.
His lot has 2 lines of frontage.
Right, but nothing in the area where we've been looking at.
Okay, so, but we move it back 3 feet, correct? The fence we're talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you have to deal with the height issue.
And the height issue of 3 feet rather than 6 feet, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So,
And then the shed.
no, that's not part of this, is it?
Not part of this one?
Well,
No.
yes, it is,
Oh.
but you weren't adjusting that one
Right.
So we're just
in your
gonna,
motion.
so we just leave it as it is?
We will need a motion on case number 13 for the fence location, height, and the shed location, all three, right?
Okay,
Okay.
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
so,
We've already closed the public. I
Okay.
personally feel like because there is a 6-foot fence that's solid across the street, that it wouldn't be fair to the applicant to not be able to have a 6-foot fence, particularly because it's open. And so that's my feeling on that. With regard to the location, I think we already agreed that we need to move it 3 feet.
okay,
And with regard to the shed, because it's so small that nobody has complained, it's not a permittable shed anyway, I think we could let him leave it where it is, because he's already gonna lose some of the space and patio between the carport and the shed, and I don't see a
Yeah.
need for us to
No.
be that
And so
nitpicky on this one.
Don't make sense.
now is the fence, in other words, you just want to just leave it the way it is?
No, he's
As far-
gonna, same height, but he's gonna move it 3 feet.
Okay, but no, it doesn't have to go to 3 feet.
So,
It'll stay at 6.
If you
Is that
guys
correct?
agree with me, I'll make a motion.
I agree with that.
So I'll move that, with regard to case number 18-999-13, that we allow the fence to remain at 6 feet in height, but it must be moved, the northern portion must be moved 3 feet to the south,
Mm-hmm.
and the shed, we would allow the variance request on the shed to remain as requested.
I can second that.
Okay, we got a second here with Gene. All right, so we're ready for the vote. Roy Brown,
Yes.
Gene Ogle,
Yes,
Tim Watkins,
Yes.
Dennis Hart,
Yes.
Robert Jones, yes. So case number 18-999-13, Douglas D. Hoff, 1400 South Franklin Drive here in Independence. Setback and fence requirements has been approved. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. So,
You might want to note that I know very few boards of adjustment that would have granted you this.
yeah, we want to, we feel like we want to work with our people in our community. So, so I think both parties are happy. Thank you for coming out. We really appreciate it. All right. Have a good evening. All right, that finally takes care of that one after about 4 or 5 months. So, well, I think and you did the right thing when we said we wanted to work with him on it, so. Okay, our last on the docket tonight is case number 19-999-01, 1507 South Sterling Avenue here in Independence. The applicant is Byron Postlewaite. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing your name right. You want to go ahead and show the video?
I'll give you an outline real quick and show the video.
Okay.
The applicant is wanting approval of an urban farming operation. This is at the southeast corner of 15th and Sterling. This is a use that's allowed in our 6 districts. However, variances are needed for the placement of the greenhouses and for the shed that he plans to put on the site, as well as allowing a fence on the property. So, real quickly, I'll go through it.
We don't have any. I guess we have a drawing on the back.
There we go. So, it was snowy when I took these.
Okay.
You saw the existing one that's there. There was a stop work order. He had already started on prior to a building permit. These are properties across the street. This is looking at Sterling and Truman. There's the building there. The main issue for him needing to be so close to the right-of-way, in fact, have a 0 setback from the right-of-way of Sterling, is that there is a sewer easement that goes up through those 5 lots that are going to contain these tunnels. They're called high tunnels, but these greenhouses. And the other thing is, of course, since this is zoned R12 or R6, single-family residential, he needs a variance to allow these accessory structures not having a primary structure, a house. Normally, in this type of zoning, we allow community gardens, and community gardens have fences around them, but we require those community garden fences to have vinyl coating around those chain link fences. So if he has that same type of fence as allowed in community garden, staff would like to see a condition that that this vinyl coating be around that fence as well.
Particularly because of its location at Truman and Sterling, which is a little bit more prominent, is that?
Right,
Part of
but because that's the standard for a
It's a
community
standard,
garden
yeah.
anyway. The other thing is, you know, the ordinance, again, requires in residential front yards, 3-foot tall fences. He's wanting a 4-foot, so he need a variance for the height of 1 foot on that, so.
Okay.
But I don't understand, cannot a high tunnel be over a sewer easement, since it's just technically not a permanent structure?
Well, if it's a permanent easement, you can't build anything.
I mean, there's poles stuck in the ground there.
Beg pardon?
I mean, there are poles in the ground. He's getting building permits for them.
Oh,
We're
okay.
treating it like
Okay,
a permanent structure.
okay.
But he's far enough away from this, it's a 15-foot easement, is it, or something? Sanitary sewer? So as long as he's not
As long as he's
encroaching
out of that and not encroaching in that with any of the structures, nor encroaching on the lot lines of the 5 lots that this is included in this property, which we have in fact measured on the map, and he in fact is meeting those. So they're not a subject of this.
So, okay, so it's a fence height, and it's the, being from the easement far enough that he's clear of the
So-
15-foot easement or.
So basically,
7.5
on the 6 questions of hardships, the first question, which is the setback from the arterial, we say he meets all 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
For the second question about allowing these accessory structures in the neighborhood without a house, we say he meets 5 of the 6.
Okay.
So we disagree with 1. And then on the last request about the fence in the exterior yard area, we say meets 4 of the 6. So.
And what was the difference on that, the third, let's see, the third, or the third request was, there was a no on a couple of them, huh?
3-foot fence and the,
Oh, a 3-foot tall fence would probably be sufficient, and that's the difference between
I beg your pardon?
you wanted, you're wanting 3 foot versus 4, is that correct? On the
Yeah,
fences?
he's requesting that, yes.
But he
Well,
wants,
code is 3 foot, he's wanting 4
The
foot.
code is 3 foot.
but the code is 3, but he's wanting an extra foot for height.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. All right, well, do we have the representative for this, the applicant here that wishes to come up to the board and speak? Just come up to the podium and give us your name and address and so on.
I'm Brian Postlewaite. I live at 4022 North Schuster Road, Sibley, Missouri, 64088. I own the property at 1507 South Sterling, Independence, Missouri. And this was, I got a grant through the USDA for a high tunnel structure. And I don't know, most of the other municipalities in the area don't really require building permits or anything, so I didn't think I needed one. And you know, it was approved through the state, and then one of the gentlemen stopped by right after I put the last truss up, and he was kind of like, well, you should come into the office. So from that point forward, we've been filing paperwork and kind of stopped putting the thing together. But we would like to get it done pretty soon because there would be benefits to starting my crops ASAP.
Sure.
I sell at the local market. I love the new building, love the new structure. I sold the last 2 years seasons here in Independence at the market, the Buckner market. Hopefully with the high tunnel we'll be able to increase production enough to wholesale to some of the local health food stores, Terra on Jackson Drive, and hopefully wholesale to local restaurants, also in a shaving soap company, and the McLeans carry me at Wild About Harry. And I think there's a good opportunity if we can provide enough quality greens, we can provide maybe one or two of the restaurants with their salad greens.
And you're going to
Okay.
grow what?
What?
You're going to grow what?
The high tunnel will primarily be cherry tomatoes and salad cucumbers. Outside the high tunnel, we will be doing salad greens, kale, mesclun mix, sort of things, strawberries, fruits and veggies, quick producing crops. We're not going to do any pumpkins or anything there. We have a larger plot of land outside the city.
Are you going-
Those aren't really high value crops anyways.
Are you going organic or regular?
We are not certified organic. We use organic practices. In order for the certification process,
I
we have to have
understand.
3 years and
Yeah.
jump through a bunch of hoops. It's kind of expensive, but hopefully with time, we will get that
But
certification.
it would be effectively the same as if it were certified as far as the way you're producing it.
Yeah, we're not we're
I understand.
spraying. There's a creek nearby. I've taken many classes and have certifications on, I don't know, different things. Like growing practices, soil health, and whatnot. My buddy Mark here, he's actually with the local nonprofit Cultivate Kansas City. They've helped me jump through the hoops and he knows
Yeah.
kind of more about
Okay.
things if you have questions.
Is a 4-foot fence high enough for keeping people from stealing your stuff?
I mean, I kind of realize there's actually deer that come through this property, which is surprising. And you're not going to stop a deer unless you have a 7-8 foot fence. we do expect there to be some loss. We kind of like people not to walk. We're on a corner. We don't want people walking through because we do permanent beds rather than tilling every season. We're kind of going towards the no-till method. And you don't want people walking on your beds and
no.
people throwing trash. It's mostly just to keep people out. I mean, if somebody steals an apple or,
Yeah.
it might happen, but it's,
Right.
mostly just deter people from walking through the property.
That's cost of doing business.
Yeah.
And a 3-foot fence is, you can still, can jump over it or step over it, and that's why you want to go with the 4.
Yeah. That's a possibility,
Is the 4 foot better for you than a 3? Is that what you're saying? For your business,
Yeah.
right? What do you-
I was told that I should put down, if I want a fence now, we should do it on the variance now. I'm not really picky on how high it is. He asked me how high I said 4 foot. I was like, it seemed like a decent size fence. I don't know.
Okay.
If you tell me 3 foot, I'm not going to be heartbroken. I would like a fence, though, and I do need a variance
Okay.
for a fence.
Okay.
I'm negotiable.
Okay,
I'll work with you
so-
guys.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Do you?
No, I'm glad to see you do this.
Yeah, we are. We're glad to see this. All right. Well, do we have anybody else here who wants to speak on behalf of the applicant? Okay. Okay.
It sounds like you're favorable, so don't know if I need to convince you.
Oh, okay. Well, just give us your name and,
It's, I work for Cultivate Kansas City. I'm the Metro Farms system manager. We've worked with Brian a few different times, and I don't know him really well, but I know him enough to know that he's passionate about this, and he's very committed to making it work, and just to bring local food into your
Yeah.
city is
Well,
a
that's
very
good. I mean-
valuable thing to do. So.
yeah, well, I appreciate you coming up here tonight on behalf of Brian. We appreciate that. I guess I was going to ask Brian, do you have any problem with not Brian, yeah, we got another Brian here, okay. Brian Harker, do you have any problem with him going with having a foot variance and using 4 foot?
No,
Okay,
we're
okay.
okay with that.
So,
It's frankly, on the high-speed road on Sterling,
Mm-hmm.
how can you tell the difference between
Right.
what's 4 and what's 3?
But
So-
the coated fence should be there.
But yes, we definitely want a condition that it be vinyl coated, just like you do community gardens.
Okay. And I presume you,
That sounds great. Okay.
okay. So,
Close the
well,
public hearing.
I guess because we don't have anybody else here tonight, we can go ahead and, heard all the
Staff
evidence
get
we
any
need.
calls on this one?
I actually got 2 calls and 1 person that came to the counter. No one was against it. They
Curious?
didn't understand the letter
Okay.
and what it was about. They thought we were doing something to their property. So
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I eat food from a high tunnel. You probably know Joel and Kathy.
Yep, I've been to classes with them.
Yeah, they're, anyway,
So you know all about that.
this is, this is a good thing. This is
Yeah,
really good.
well, absolutely. Well, it's good to have people
And I know
that's,
that, a lot of times to get something organically certified, you go through a lot of red tape and but
oh, yeah, I'm sure
it's
you
very
do.
expensive, and so the food costs more when it can be grown the same, and you don't go through all that, so.
Yeah, that's the
But as
reason
far as
for it.
all this goes, I think this is an awesome idea. I think the 4-foot fence is good for several reasons. One, it'll kind of help keep litter from going as far, and in fact,
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd be allow them to go up personally up to a 5-foot fence. Because I think this is important. But he's not asking for that, so I'm prepared to make a motion if you guys
Okay.
are on board with this.
All right, well, I'll say case number 19-999-01, Brian Postlewaite, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but anyway.
Oh, wait.
Yes, Postlewaite. As noted on the staff comments, except we'll go with a 4-foot versus a 3-foot with the, what do they call it, the vinyl?
Well,
you call it?
we're not
Close public
discussing
meeting.
materials, we're just discussing heights now, right?
Well,
they were talking about the
the
material.
variance, I mean,
there's 2
you don't need to modify anything because the variance is already asking for the height.
Okay,
The only thing we're asking for is by approving the fence variance of the 3 variances, actually, that you're including a condition that those fences have the vinyl
Vinyl
Coating.
chain link.
the
the
vinyl
chain
coating,
link.
they call it. Okay.
Yeah, so we want you, what we'd like to see is it be approved as his request, the 3 variances, with the condition that there'll be vinyl on the fence.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that it's the vinyl strips, you're talking about.
No,
just the
no,
coat.
not
Vinyl coated
slats.
chain
Right.
link.
No,
it's coated.
vinyl on,
Yeah,
Oh, I see,
Yes.
okay, okay.
all right,
So,
okay,
you make a motion for that?
I move that we accept the request for variances on case number 19-999-ON and add the requirement that the fence be vinyl coated.
Right, okay. And do I have a second?
Second.
All right. So now we will do the vote. Roy Brown?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes. Gene Ogle?
Yes.
Tim Watkins?
Yes.
Dennis Hart?
Emphatically, yes.
In fact, Robert Jones, yes. So case number 19-999-01 has been approved. Thank you all for coming up. We really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Good luck, man.
Good luck.
Could you bring us some samples, maybe?
Yeah, I'll bring us some samples up here.
Thought I'd mention it.
You better hurry up and get those ceilings in, man.
Take care. All right, so we have the approval of the minutes from last month, December the 20th of 2018, and we will just approve those by acclamation. Those in favor of approving the minutes from December the 20th, 2018 meeting, those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. The yeses have it, so the approval of minutes has been approved by voice. And so, this meeting has been adjourned.